Sports to the bone family. What's up, what's up, what's up? Welcome back to another video, my viewers and subscribers. Couple of interesting things to talk about in this one, right? We see where the former West Indies captain Sir Viv Richards did an interview, and he was basically saying that the players, they are putting themselves ahead of the team and they are letting the people of the Caribbean down. He also spoke about how CWI should be more proactive as it relates to making sure that these players that are opting out of CWI contracts to play in lucrative leagues, things are handled better. So we're going to talk about that. But before we go down into all of that, remember, we are going to be live this evening at 6 p.m. right? For a 1 hour live show. Make sure you come out and have a talk with us. The Super 50 tournament is ongoing. West Indies preparing to take on Australia in 2 test matches. We have the T20 World Cup that is still going on, and also the World Cup, Football World Cup is just around the corner. So all these things we might need to address. So make sure you hit that subscription button, that subscribe button if you have not yet subscribed. Turn on the notification bell so you can come across and have a chat with us later on, alright? So let's get down into this now, my peeps. So Sir Viv Richards was speaking with the JoJo Sports program over there in Antigua, and he had quite a few things to say. One of the most interesting things that he would have said is that the people of the Caribbean would have just gone through the big sea, and they are looking for something to uplift them, something to basically get them back into a good mood. And generally speaking, they would be able to turn to sport. But based on what is happening with West Indies cricket, it is so lacking. The people of the Caribbean cannot lean on that right now, because that will definitely bring their spirit down even worse or even more. So let me go down into this now. I was speaking about the players taking on lucrative contracts. It is as if they are putting themselves and their own interest in front of the West Indies team. And I can understand this coming from Sir Viv Richards. He would have played in an era where it was mostly about passion and love and soul of the game, even though they still got their money and played in leagues in England and all of that. And thinking about this is where it is at now. Sir Viv Richards, these guys are definitely going to be doing it like that. So he was basically saying that in terms of the scheduling, this is something that CWI needs to work on, because we have a case where some of these players, they come up and when they talk about why they are not taking the contracts, they come and say that CWI know their schedule, so CWI need to work around it. I was basically saying this shouldn't be the case. You understand, you know your schedule as a player in terms of playing in different leagues. You should sit with CWI and try and find the best way how they can fit in, just to make sure that you are showing interest, you are showing love for the Caribbean, you are showing love for West Indies cricket. And that is where quite a few of us as fans, that is where we are losing it, because we think that these guys are really some of these guys are really passionate about playing for West Indies. That's probably not the case with most of these guys. They just come through, use CWI in the initial part of their career to launch themselves and then on to another level. You understand? And we have to understand, just like over there in India, they have so much control over their players because of money. They can tell them don't play in this league and don't play in that league, and they still play international cricket and get them money and all of that. But CWI don't wield that amount of power, not only because there's not enough money, but there's nothing in the initial contract that players sign. I'm not saying you should let players sign their career away, but when people making a breakthrough, and especially when you identify talented players, you have to make sure that you have a little stipulation in the contract, man, because some of these franchise teams, they definitely want to see you play a couple of international games before they take a chance on you. But anyway, let us take back a look at a couple more things that Sir Viv was saying. He was saying that he find that there's a thing like this where players, they are just accepting contracts from different franchise teams without even taking into consideration when West Indies might need them to play a game or two. So it is just a case of them putting the franchise cricket first, and then whatever they can do for West Indies, they will do. He went on to say, when you when you have fragments of these sort of things coming in, and you know, well, when you say fragment, when you have guys coming in and out, and they're unfit, it's definitely not going to you're not going to get a good result. Let's put it that way, because with the unfit thing, you know, remember, people play franchise cricket. Once you're scoring runs and taking wickets, that's all most of the franchise teams care about. Once you're not the face of their franchise, they don't business about you. And where CWI is concerned, they want you to be at a certain standard, at a certain level. So what Sir Viv is saying, that when you have people coming in and out and want to be played, you know, without meeting certain standard, it's not going to end up having you know, it's not going to end up being too good for West Indies in the long run. He was also saying that he was really disappointed with the fact that we were not able to make it to the Super 12, just like any other West Indian fan would be. So, you know, I can understand my viewers and subscribers. As I said, Sir Viv Richards is speaking from a place of love. He's speaking from a place of passion. But that is not where West Indies cricket is at the moment. Well, let me not outrightly say that, because you have a few guys that they are still playing. I mean, franchise teams are showing interest in them. People like the Alzari Joseph of the world, franchise teams showing interest, but you still can't see the passion when he goes out there to play for West Indies. There are some players, probably don't need to call any name, franchise teams are running them down, but when they get a 1 or 2 chance to play for West Indies, it's as if they couldn't care less. They are reckless, they give away the wickets, they bowl poorly. But, you know, when they are playing the franchise, they are so serious, because that is where the money is. And as I said, I understand. I totally understand, because it is a career, it is a job. This is what they do for a living. So people are always going to move for the better. People are always going to move move to where they can get better. You understand? And as I said, CWI, as Sir Viv would have said, need to be a little bit more proactive in terms of making sure that there are certain things. Well, he didn't outrightly say this, so I am saying this, that there are certain things in the contract, certain clause, you know, when you come through, that you need to fulfill. You understand? And it needs to be legally binded. So when they sign that contract, because as I said, coming out of under 19 cricket, players going to probably take another 2, 3, 4 years before they fully break out and can start receiving, you know, offers from franchises based on thing like that. You're going to have 1 and 2 that come straight out of under 19 and people start running at them at the same time. But CWI can be a little bit more proactive, and another way to take it is they could do the same thing that New Zealand is doing, trying to see if they can work the scheduling around the franchise cricket, because it's not going anywhere. Well, not around franchise cricket, the main thing like an IPL. But then again, not all West Indian players will be wanted by IPL teams, so they are going to be looking to be picked up by other franchise teams. So it's 6.5 dozen of the other my viewers and subscribers. I don't know. I can understand what Sir Viv is saying, that the people of the Caribbean, they are, you know, they feel let down by the players, as if they are putting their own interest in front of the Caribbean. But one thing we have to understand is that when they play and they entertain us, you understand, I mean, they are representing the region, so that is serious. But when they play and entertain us, you know, none of us will ever get up and say, let us take up their responsibility. Let us make sure that they are getting fed. And we would have seen cases where people would have dedicated themselves to West Indies cricket, and then, you know, without a cause, you just see they get kicked to the wayside. So players are going to be putting their own interests forward. But, you know, as I said, it's tough. And this is probably something that we can talk a little bit more on later on when we do the live show later on tonight. So make sure you come with your ideas as it relates to what CWI can do to keep these players playing some cricket for West Indies. So that is it, my peeps. Just go and big up on yourself, and we'll touch base later on. See? Big up.